Hello guys, welcome to this YouTube channel, and today we would be discussing about a lead code question, namely question number 121, best time to buy and sell stock. So let's learn what the question wants to describe right over here. The question says you are given an array prices where prices of I is the price of the given stock on ith day. You want to maximize your profit by choosing a single day to buy one stock and choosing a different day in future to sell the stock. Return the maximum profit you can achieve from this transaction. If you cannot achieve any profit, return zero. ये क्या बोलना चाहता है कि जो तुम्हारा एक एरे दिया होगा प्राइसेस के नाम पे, तो प्राइसेस का जो ith एलिमेंट होगा वो ith डे का तुम्हारा गिवन स्टॉक का प्राइस होगा, राइट? एंड you have to maximize the profit over time, like in the given array, and you cannot have any losses. If you have any losses, you should return zero, so you will not admit to any losses, right? So example 1 में हम लोग एक input दिया हुआ है कि there is a input array prices where the first day the stock price is 7, second day the stock price is 1, the third day the stock price is 5, the fourth day the stock price is 3, the fifth day the stock price is 6, the sixth day the stock price is 4, and the output is 5. Now the explanation given for this given output was the buy the you regardingly for this given array you buy on the second day, day 2, where the price is 1, and you sell on the fifth day, day 5, where the price is 6, right? And the profit that you gain from this transaction would be 6 minus 1, which would be 5. Note that buying on day 2 and selling on day 1 is not allowed, because you must buy before you sell. So like you cannot buy right over here and sell here, you cannot buy here and sell here, like you have to first buy and then sell. And there is another example that we can take into account. Here the prices are in decreasing order, so like if you buy any stock in an earlier day and in a later day, the stock will always decrement in value, so our net profit would be negative. So we do not buy any stock at any given point, hence incur a profit of 0 because there are no transaction made. Now you can look at the constants where the price length lies between 1 to 10 to the power 5, and the prices of I, like the integer value of I, ranges between 0 to 10 to the power 4. That's very good. Keeping all this into account, we would devise a particular strategy to solve this particular problem. So now we will go to this particular notebook I've created. So here you can see I've given the title, right? And here is the array of the first example, right? Now we need to find this 6 minus 1 equals to 5. So the first approach we can say, or we can say call this as the brute force approach. So what we do over here is first we take the ith element. I runs from 0 to the size of the array, and there is again we run a j loop from I to the size of the array, right? I plus 1 basically. So okay, now here the ith element is 7. Now throughout the array we search any j element which, if we utilize, then the prices of j minus the prices of I would be greater than 0, right? So, and we can do a similar thing such that we can take a max, integer max, and then we can store values. Here what we do is, here we store the initial value as out, like the initial prices, change in prices, uh, the prices wherever there is profit seen in, like regarding 7 you will not see any profit because the next element is 1, 5, 3, 6, 4, so all the elements are smaller than this, so the prices the profit will never be positive, it will always be lesser than 0. For 1 you can see there are cases where you can get profits. So what we do, we run two loops, right? And then we store values in out, and then we write a condition, if condition, that if max is smaller than out, we store the value of out in max. So this is our approach number 1. Let me get this approach 1. So what we see over here is we need two loops. The time complexity, sorry, the time complexity for this solution would be O of n square, and the space complexity would be O of n, O of 1, sorry, O of 1, right? Now what happens is, we see, according to the constraints given in our question, you can see that according to the constant right over here, our solution, if it has a complexity of O of n square, it would lead to a TLE error, or time limit exceeded error, right? So basically, this solution over here would lead to a TLE, time limit exceeded. If you want to experiment this, you can just like check it out and try it out in Leetcode. But in this video, we would see some like a better approach, which I would call approach 2. Approach 2, it is a slightly better approach, a much better approach, I should say. So what it uses is a famous algorithm, like not completely, it does not completely use that famous algorithm, but like it is based on that algorithm, right? So the algorithm is a famous algorithm called as Kadane's algorithm. So whoever is into TSA and this competitive coding culture and stuff, they would know there is a like a very famous algorithm called Kadane's algo. So this is a pretty famous algorithm and used mainly for it is known to be used in a question called maximum sum of a subarray. So it's another like a very good question for intuition of how the complexity works around. So now, seeing to the approach 2, what we will do, we will take two values, a min value and a max value. We will initialize both of them to 0. What we will do is, we will learn a for loop from I equals to 0 to I less than prices dot size. I guess it is a vector over there. Let me see, let me check. Okay. So I guess it is a vector given over here. Yeah, it's a vector given over here. So we would go for a for loop, right? And inside that for loop, we would write a simple static code, like that is min plus equals to, like min will store all the values, plus equals to prices. Okay, sorry, I forgot one thing to mention right over here. It is just a typo from my side. That is, I would start from 1, right? So the prices of I minus the prices of I minus 1 elements would be stored in the min value, the sum basically. And what we'll see is, if max is smaller than min, we will just store max equals to min. And whenever min is smaller than 0, that is negative, sorry, then we'll basically initialize min equals to 0 and return max. So what happens over here is, if I show you the working right over here, so we had an array, we had 7, let me see, let me check, 7 1 5 3 6 4, right? Okay, we had 7, we had 1, we had 5, we had 3, we had 6, we had 4. What happens is, it starts right from here, the index 1, this is index 0. Firstly, it checks where, okay, here is the out, I am getting here the min value and the max value, right? So here out we get -6. After getting into this, after getting into like this statement right over here, this statement, it tells us that min should be initialized to 0. So we initialize min to 0 and the max is 0 itself. Okay, now second, we go over here, our pointer is right over in index 2, and we find out the difference between 5 and 1, which is 4, and we store 4 in min, 4 in max. We go to index 3, which is 3 coincidentally. Now we get the difference between 3 and 5 as -2. Now the min comes back to 2 and the max is still 4. Since you can always see right over here that if and only if max is smaller than min, the max would take the value of min, otherwise it would not. Now what happens next is 6 and 3. So 6 minus 3 is 3. So 2 plus 3, because here we add the prices. So 2 plus 3 right over here becomes 5. And since the max is smaller than the min value, it will take the value of the min value, which is 5. And then comes 6 minus 4, which is minus 2 itself, which will make the min value to 3, and the max will stay 5 as it is, as it was in the last step. So I think so that you get the idea. This is basically the idea of how Kadane's algorithm works. So I would now show you how to code it. So just as I wrote, don't take long. We will write int min and initialize it to 0. Then I get an int max and initialize it to 0 2. Then we'll learn a for loop, int I equals to 0 and I is less than, say, prices dot size, and then I get I plus plus. Now what I do is I get min equals to, sorry, plus equals to, so here I made the same typo again, sorry for that, and it is prices of I minus prices of I minus 1. Now we come to the conditional statements, which is if max is smaller than min, we will take the value of min. Let's say max equals to min. I have some problem in my keyboard, that is why like the I, even if I click I once, it comes as it was clicked twice. I don't know why. So we do not have any if else statement right over here. We will have another if statement that says that if min is smaller than 0, what happens is we initialize min to back to 0, like we do not contain a negative element in min, and finally after this we return back the value max. So let's run it and check if it's running fine. So see, it's running fine. Now let's submit the code. Yeah, so good, the code is perfectly submitted. So this would be it from my side today. You all can try out or both the brute force method and this method. Also you can share any ideas you want to give me regarding the channel. You can always give it to me in the comment section below. If you like this video, you can give it a like, hit the subscribe button and leave a comment below. That would encourage me to post such videos frequently and consistently. This would be it from my side today. Thank you.